Hey, good morning. 13 April. This video might be a little bit disjointed, but I wanted to try to kind of expand not only my knowledge but perspective on what's going on out there. So here we go. I'm going to describe our opposition as like the Draco arsenal. We've kind of got this Mars contingent, and the point I want to make about all this is that I have been limiting sort of my orientation has always been these two sides, which I know to be true. The Draco side, which is essentially Solomon in essence, communism, the proliferation of sort of an antichrist mentality via Solomon, 800 wives, but of course it precedes him. I want to make the point about the variations of body vessels and the occupation of consciousness from all over the universe that make up this arsenal. And I'm going to throw out some names, and they're not necessarily tied anywhere. It's just the guys that are causing us problems. We know about Musk. I've talked about him. He's taken Twitter and everybody else to get your opinion so that these guys have an idea what's going on. I mean, they still have Neuralink. They have ways of determining who's doing what for recruiting purposes, and they're going to come after Rh negative blood in a recruitment effort. So these are, we know Trump is from, these are their points of origin in this case. Musk and Trump were sort of, their souls were born on Mars. That's the best way to put that. Now you got Bill Gates. I don't know where the hell his point of origin is, but he got soul swapped and Dracoed out. So he's from somewhere. And my theme of this whole video, I'm going to show you some star configurations to explain that there's a hell of a lot more, obviously, than Aldebaran and, the Dracos from Orion's belt, per se. I think that those are senior managers of opposition, and a lot of the planets are set up in opposition to each other. So I jumped into Orion here just to explain, the white Nazis, everything from Himmler to Eric Schmidt. You got Hitler, you're back into Bush. I mean, when the bloodlines start crossing around, everything gets messed up, right? You've got Pope John Paul, that was definitely a Nazi, psyop guy. So he's from some planet, someplace, predecessorally speaking. You got Bush. I was sloppy with this, so excuse that. But I was back to Gates here. You got all the Illuminati bloodlines. Where the hell Kennedy fits in, I don't know. Kushner. I mean, go on and on. Pope Francis, Netanyahu, Putin, Rockefeller, Clintons. I just started throwing I started throwing all these names in here. Throw Z's name in here, but I don't think he's Draco. So enough on that. We got this vast cast of characters from Beyonce to Kanye to everybody in Hollywood. They're all wearing soul tapestry. So my issue has always been I've in an effort to simplify the attitude. One is Inky. He's smarter than you, and he really hates you, and he wants to peel you back. And the other one is, Enlil is the first character. He's got priority for the harvest when he can't wait. And Inky is the other side of that. That's Yahweh. That's, hey, let's Jeffrey Dahmer the thing. And all these guys are, many are cannibals, and they eat people, and some are witting, and I mean, it goes on and on. But let's get over here to stars, just to talk about the options that are out there. And so here's Orion's belt, and we know that when you look up at the sky, it's not too hard to discern that Sirius is over here, and this is probably Aldebaran as opposed to Mars. This happens to be on this day. So to maybe teach, because I just sort of figured this out on my own, Forgive me for being kind of stating the obvious, but it's helpful for space people that really never looked up there. And think about Jim Carrey in his movie where he's The Truman Story, and there's a big dome over his world as he knows it. So think like that, and then know that Polaris and Vega are roughly up there, so to speak. Like go due north, like the real north in space, the top of the dome out there. That's what you would call the northern sky. So to lock in the northern sky, from our perspective, you have to go back to the planet Earth again and look straight up, right? And you got Polaris and Vega. Now I express this thing to show our constellation as our planet rolls around, but these things are fairly steady up at the top. So to segue over here, here's Vega and here's Polaris. So same view, you're looking at the top of our dome, and then this is the surrounding perspective as it moves out. So my point is, you see the dippers and how they connect, and there's some really interesting points of note that the astrologers make about connectivity that I'm not prepared to talk about, but I'm sensing that Deneb is very important on the good side. Here's Lyra, or sort of predecessorally from a time standpoint. Look at Lyra as a race that precedes Earth in terms of its enlightenment and development, and a lot of feline characteristics of how people operate up there. You see here's Virgo. So we're kind of taught now. This may have just been a time of the year, because of course our planet's moving around, but my point is that there are these stars that are at the top of the dome. So if you see this as the top, and then you can push the dome around so that you're looking out at it, that's kind of what you're looking at. So here, this is an image of Canis Major, which is a part of, well, you see that Sirius is right up there in the middle of it. So I'm going to call this a galaxy, and there's obviously multiple stars in it, and this is where Yeshua and his family was from. So right here you've got other stars with occupying body vessels that have been developed over lots of time. And look at the names of these. Omicrons 1 and 2. So there are beings, point of origin Aldora, or you took a ride there to do something. So, hang on. Alright, so this one is more oriented on the Draco constellation. Again, now, this is not picking out stars from inside of Orion's belt. This is a whole constellation. So we're back on kind of what we looked at earlier. Here's the top of the dome, and then you've got all these planets and stars that are strewn all over the place, moving around with consciousness on them. So this gives all the specs and distances and light years, but look at all the planets and places where people can come from, beings that have awareness, that are participating, because the Earth is the all-star planet where everybody's come. So I'm back on my contention. I mean, look at this, Rastaban. So go with Rasta, and right, wrong, or indifferent, it's a thing. Thuban is huge in pyramidal geometry and everything else. So many of these planets house dark oriented beings that are there in a level of, and realize many of these planets may only be at third density. I mean, there's too much that I don't know to be able to try and hazard a guess. So it breaks out all these planets here and where they're from. And when you hear Sam the Illusionist channel, you can tell that there's always new planets that are being introduced. You know, Dolores was from E Grigori X, and it goes on and on. So that's it. I just wanted to make that point. Know that we're still in a good window. Everybody should be feeling really good. Stay positive and have a great day. I'll probably do something online later.